Hello everyone. Last time we have completed expression for maximum work and expression for pressure volume work. Today we'll start with internal energy. By the name we can say that it is the energy stored in a substance. Okay, so every substance is associated with definite amount of energy. Okay, and it is represented by capital letter U. And internal energy of a system is made up of kinetic and potential energies of individual particles of the system, and we can say that it is a state function means it is dependent on the initial and the final state of a system. Therefore, whenever we'll be calculating internal energy, we will be seeing the change in internal energy. That means we want to calculate delta U. So what is delta U equal to? Delta U will be equal to U2 minus U1, and it is said to be a extensive property. Extensive property means the property which depends upon the amount of matter present in the system. Okay, so hopefully till here it is understood. Now the last one, a transfer of energy from the system would change its internal energy, because internal energy means whatever the energy in form of heat, work, anything which is there in the system is said to be internal energy. Okay, now if there is a transfer of heat or work from system to the surrounding, then the internal energy will vary. Okay, before seeing some examples, we'll see some important points which we have to understand so that it will be easier for us to calculate the internal energy of any of the system. Okay, so what is the important point? First one, the energy transferred to the system by heating it or performing work on it is added to the system. That means if we heat a system, it will be added to the system. Okay, if the system is cooled down, then we have to subtract the value. Okay, now similar way, second point, the energy transferred from the system by cooling or by performing work on the surrounding is removed from the system. So similarly, what if it is cooled down, we are going to remove that energy from the system. Okay, and one more thing, if it is in the form of work done on the system will be added up, work done by the system on the surrounding will be subtracted from the system. So these are the points which you have to understand. Now you can see a diagram over here. Okay, above a hot object is there and down you can see a cold object. Now obviously the heat will be removed from the hot object and it will pass to the cold object. Okay, if it is in thermal contact with each other. So what happens, the heat decreases from the hot object and it increases to the cold object. As a result, the heat is removed from the hot object, therefore there the internal energy decreases and that heat is added up in the cold object. That means over here we are giving heat over here to the cold object, therefore the internal energy increases. Hope this is cleared now. Okay, now we'll see some examples related to internal energy. First one, 30 kilojoule of heat supplied to the system, it would be added to internal energy of the system, and therefore we say delta U will be equal to plus 30 kilojoule. It was very simple. 30 kilojoule is added to the system, that means heat is supplied, so it will get added up, so we are writing plus 30 kilojoule. And one more thing important over here, whenever you calculate internal energy, you have to mention the sign. If it is positive, you have to mention it positive 30 kilojoule. You cannot simply write 30 kilojoule. Okay, so if it is negative, you have to write negative. Okay, so second one, if 20 kilojoule of work is done on the system, again if it is on the system, then it is getting added up, so it is added to internal energy of the system. Therefore delta U is equal to plus 20 kilojoule. Last one, suppose a system releases 10 kilojoule of heat. Releases means the heat is removed from the system, therefore it will be minus 10 kilojoule, okay, and performs 15 kilojoule of work on the surrounding. So work is done by the system on the surrounding. Again it will be minus 15 kilojoule. So these quantities are removed from internal energy of the system. Therefore, what will be delta U equal to? Delta U is equal to minus 10 kilojoule plus of minus 15 kilojoule. So, if we calculate that, it will be nothing but minus 25 kilojoule. Okay. So, whatever in form of heat and work, we have to calculate both, and at the end we have to tell the value of that thing. Such kind of questions can come in the form of MCQs or in the form of one sentence. That means you have to just 1 marks questions can be asked based on this. Now we learn the first law of thermodynamics, which is very important. This law deals with the conservation of energy. So this law states that the first one, the total energy of a system and surroundings remain constant when the system changes from initial state to final state. That means at the end, just remember, in this whatever the energy will remain constant. Any process let it happen, but at the end the energy of the system will be constant. It can go from one form to another, but it will be constant. So second point, energy of the universe remains constant. Third one, the total internal energy of an isolated system is constant. Last one, energy is neither created nor destroyed and can only be converted from one form to another. So this law deals with the conservation of energy. Okay, so any of the point you can mention if it is asked. Whenever it is first law of thermodynamics, mention it is the conservation of energy, and you can give any of the points and you will get marks for this. Now we learn the mathematical expression for first law of thermodynamics, that is the formulation of first law of thermodynamics. Now for here, in first law of thermodynamics, we have seen that the system and the surrounding can exchange energy. Now that exchange of energy can be in the form of heat or work. Okay, so if Q is heat supplied to the system and W is a work done on the system by the surrounding, that means the internal energy of the system would increase. Okay, so the increase in internal energy of the system is equal to the quantity of heat which is supplied to the system and the amount of work done on the system. Therefore, we can say that delta U is equal to Q plus W, where delta U is the internal energy, increase in the internal energy or the change in the internal energy, Q is the heat supplied, and W is the work done. Okay, so this is nothing but the mathematical expression for first law of thermodynamics. If it is directly asked that to write down the mathematical expression, you have to write this equation, that is delta U equal to Q plus W, and mention each of the term. Okay, that is delta U is the change in internal energy, Q is the heat supplied, and W is the work done. Okay, and for infinitesimal changes, that means very small changes, the delta will be replaced by D. So it will be du is equal to dq plus dw. Hopefully it is clear. Now we'll learn how to apply first law of thermodynamics for various processes. So first one, for isothermal process, as you all know, here temperature and internal energy of the system is constant. That means delta U is equal to 0 over here. And we know that the mathematical expression for first law of thermodynamics is given by delta U is equal to Q plus W. Therefore, when I apply that delta U equal to 0 in the first law of thermodynamics, I'll get 0 is equal to Q plus W. So I can say that W is equal to minus Q. So from the above equation, I can say that heat absorbed by the system is entirely used for doing work on the surrounding. What is that? The heat absorbed by the system is entirely used for work done on the surrounding. Or else we can say, when work is done on the system by the surrounding, it results in release of heat. That is, when we write W is equal to minus Q, we can also write it as minus W is equal to positive Q. Okay, so W, whenever it is positive, that means what? Work is done by the surrounding on the system. Work is done by the surrounding on the system. And whenever it is negative Q, that means heat is released to the surrounding. So we can just make a statement over there that when work is done by the surrounding on the system, it results in the heat release, and vice versa. Okay, fine. Now the second one, adiabatic process. Adiabatic process, we know that there is no exchange of heat in and out of the system and the surrounding. That means there is no exchange of heat between the system and the surrounding. That means I can say over here Q is equal to 0. Then I'll apply the same in the first law of thermodynamics, that is delta U equal to Q plus W. So it will be delta U is equal to 0 plus W. So therefore delta U equal to W. So I can say delta U is equal to W or minus delta U is equal to minus W. Okay, so I can say that the increase in the internal energy of a system is the work done on it. The increase in the internal energy of the system is the work done on it. If the work is done by the system on the surrounding, then at the expense of its internal energy, the internal energy would decrease in that time. That is by seeing the sign convention. Okay, like for example, if I am saying minus delta U, so first you have to write down what is minus delta U. Minus delta U is the internal energy. Minus means there is decrease in the internal energy, and equal to minus W. Minus W is what? Work done by the system on the surrounding. Okay, so I just have to now frame a sentence. So the decrease in the internal energy is due to the work done by the system on the surrounding. And if it is, I can say delta U is equal to W. There what can I write? The increase in the delta U, that is the internal energy, is due to the work done on the system by the surrounding. Please understand, sign conventions are very, very, very important. You have to learn that. Then only you can frame sentence for this thing. Okay. Now the third one, isochoric process. Now what is isochoric process? Where the volume of the system is constant. Now if volume is constant, we have to get that volume term in mathematical equation, right? Now what is a mathematical equation? Delta U equal to Q plus W. Now here there is no volume concept, but I can introduce the volume term with the help of W, because I know that W is equal to minus P external into delta V. So I will substitute that value in the first law of thermodynamics. So it will become delta U is equal to Q minus P external delta V. Now, as the reaction is carried out in closed container, volume of the system is constant. That is delta V equal to 0. Therefore, in the above equation, when I put delta V equal to 0, that whole term becomes 0. That is minus P external into delta V will be 0. Therefore, I can say delta U is equal to QV, where V stands for at constant volume. So, I can say that the change in internal energy of the system is due to heat transfer at constant volume. Okay, so and over here U is said to be a state function, so therefore QV is also a state function. Okay, now the last process, isobaric process. Over here we know that isobaric process means at constant pressure. So most of the chemical reactions are carried out in open containers under constant atmospheric pressure. That means in such reactions delta V is not equal to 0. So I'll apply delta U is equal to Q plus W. We know that. So delta U is equal to Q minus, I'll replace W by minus P external into delta V. So it will be Q, so at constant pressure. So I'll just rearrange the above equation and write it as Q is equal to delta U plus P external delta V, and I am using the subscript P over here since it is at constant pressure. Now over here a new term will be introduced. The heat exchange at constant pressure is also called as enthalpy, that is delta H over here. So that will be our next topic. So what is enthalpy? Enthalpy of a system is the sum of internal energy of the system and the energy equivalent to PV work. So we can write enthalpy as what? Enthalpy is given by H. So H is equal to sum of internal energy. So internal energy is denoted by U plus PV work, since it is sum of internal energy of the system and the energy equivalent to PV work. So the expression for enthalpy is H is equal to U plus PV. Now the change in enthalpy is given by delta H. Now it is also a state function, therefore it will be always represented as delta H. So what is delta H? Change in enthalpy, that is equal to H2 minus H1, where H1 and H2 are the enthalpies of initial and final states respectively. So what will I write now? I can replace 4.19 by H1 and H2. So it will be what? H1 is equal to U1 plus P1 V1 and H2 will be equal to U2 plus P2 V2. Okay, so now we want the change in enthalpy, that is given by delta H, that is equal to H2 minus H1. So what is the expression for H2? That is U2 plus P2 V2. So I'll write on U2 plus P2 V2 minus U1 plus P1 V1. Okay, now there should be a bracket in that expression. So I'll get in the next step U2 minus U1 plus P2 V2 minus P1 V1. Okay, now afterwards I'll get U2 minus U1, I can write it as delta U plus P2 V2 minus P1 V1 can be written as delta of PV, change in pressure and volume. Now at constant pressure I can say that P1 is equal to P2 will be equal to P. So I'll replace it by what? Delta H is equal to delta U. Now what is constant? P is constant, so I can take it out. So it will be plus P delta V. Very important expression. Delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Now if the pressure inside and outside is the same,
Okay, so I can say that P external is equal to P. Now we have seen in isobaric process where we applied the first law of thermodynamics, I got the expression as QP is equal to delta U plus P external into delta V. So there I can write simply P. So it will be QP is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Okay, now when you compare 4.22 and 4.23, you can see that the right hand side is same. Therefore, we can say the left hand side will be also same. So that's why we can write it as delta H is equal to QP. That means the change in enthalpy of a system is equal to the heat transferred from it at constant pressure. So derivation can be asked to prove that the enthalpy change is equal to the heat transferred at constant pressure. That time you have to derive till here. Okay. H and QP both are state functions. Now we'll see the relationship between delta H and delta U for chemical reactions. Okay. Now we know the relationship between delta H and delta U. It is given by delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. But over here we want an expression for chemical reaction. That means whenever such kind of thing is asked, we have to introduce the term number of moles in that. Okay, so let's begin. So we'll write down first the equation delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Now for reaction involving solids and liquids, we know that delta V will be very small. That means there won't be any remarkable change in volume with the change in pressure. Therefore, we can say that delta V is equal to 0. So, I'll get delta H is equal to delta U plus P into 0. Therefore, the whole term P delta V will be 0. So, I'll get the expression as delta H is equal to delta U. Now, for reaction involving gases, delta V cannot be neglected, right? So, over here, we'll write down delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. So, there will be change in volume. Next expression I'll write down, that is equal to delta U plus P into V2 minus V1, where V2 and V1 are the volumes of gas phase products and gas phase reactants. Okay. Now, therefore, the next expression will be delta H is equal to delta U plus P V2 minus P V1. I have multiplied pressure with both the volume terms. So, the expression is delta H is equal to delta U plus P V2 minus P V1, where V1 is the volume of gas phase reactants and V2 that of the gaseous products. Okay.
Now, if the gases behave ideally, that is, the products and the reactants behave ideally, I can apply ideal gas equation over here. So, I can introduce the term number of moles in the chemical reaction. Okay. So, we know that ideal gas equation is given by PV equal to nRT. So, for the reactants, it will be PV1 equal to N1RT, and for the products I can say PV2 is equal to N2RT, where N1 will refer to the number of moles of the reactants and N2 will refer to the number of moles of products. Now I'll substitute this value in the delta H equation. Okay, so what I'll get it as delta H is equal to delta U, it was plus P V2 minus P V1. Instead of that thing, I'll replace it by plus N2 RT minus N1 RT. So over here, I can take RT common. So it will be delta H is equal to delta U plus N2 minus N1 into RT. What is N2 minus N1? I can write it as delta N, and G represents, these are gaseous products and reactants. So
where delta Ng is difference between the number of moles of products and those of reactants. Okay, hopefully you understood. Simply you have to start with delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V, and P delta V should be replaced by the number of moles. For that you just have to use the equation of ideal gas equation and you can do it. So only 2 steps if you remember, rest all are simple mathematics over here. Okay, so now next we'll start with work done in chemical reaction. So to start this, we have to introduce the expression for the work done by a system at constant temperature and pressure, and it is given by W is equal to P external minus P external into delta V. Please write down minus P over here, minus P external into delta V. Now if we assume that P external is equal to P, then we can say that W is equal to minus P into delta V. And next step I will say what is delta V equal to. Delta V is nothing but equal to V2 minus V1. So it will be minus P into V2 minus V1. And next I will multiply pressure with both the terms. So it will be equal to minus P V2 plus P V1. Now once I see PV, okay, and we have to understand, we have to derive a relation for work done in chemical reaction. Similar to the last derivation, when we want chemical reaction, then we should introduce the term number of moles in the expression. Okay, so the next thing is we will say that the gases, if it is ideal, we can apply ideal gas equation. So we can write down PV1 equal to N1 RT and PV2 equal to N2 RT. So at constant temperature and pressure, we'll write down W is equal to minus N2 RT plus N1 RT. So I'll take RT common. Okay, so it will be minus of N2 minus N1. Okay, so therefore I will get W is equal to minus delta N RT. Okay, so now what is delta N? You know that it is nothing but the difference between the number of moles of products and those of the reactants. So the above equation gives the work done by the system in chemical reaction, and the sign of W depends upon delta N. So we'll see different sign convention of work. Okay, over here we'll see 3 different cases. First one, where N2 is greater than N1. If N2 is greater than N1, then the term delta N will be positive because it is N2 minus N1. So it will be positive. If that is positive, we know the expression is W is equal to minus delta N RT. So there will be negative at the end. So W will be negative in this case. Therefore I can say that work is done by the system on the surrounding. Okay. Now second case, it will be the reverse one. When N2 is greater, N1 is greater. When N1 is greater than N2, delta N will be negative. If it is negative, the expression of W is equal to minus delta N RT will become positive. So I can say if W is positive, it will be work done on the system by the surrounding. And the last case, if N1 is equal to N2, that means N2 minus N1 will be equal to 0. Therefore delta N is equal to 0. So I can say that the whole expression of W is equal to minus delta N RT will be 0. So I can say no pressure volume work is done when the number of moles of reactants and products are equal. Hopefully you understood. So there are some derivations we have learned today. So please write and practice each of the derivations. Next class we'll start with enthalpies of physical transformation. Okay then, thank you.